I'm not usually one to believe in horror stories, ghosts, or anything supernatural. I like my life predictable, my nights quiet, and my Christmases simple. My name's Alex. I'm 28, I live alone in a small apartment at the edge of town, and I like things the way they are, orderly, safe, controlled. At least I thought I did. This story I'm about to tell you, it happened to me one Christmas Eve, and I still can't shake it. I still feel it sometimes, a prickling at the back of my neck that reminds me someone, somewhere, was watching. It started like any normal Christmas Eve. I had spent the day running last-minute errands, picking up groceries, wrapping gifts, and making sure my tiny apartment looked a little festive. I wasn't expecting anyone. The apartment was small, cozy, with a modest Christmas tree in the corner. Its lights twinkled softly against the snowy window, casting reflections on the walls. The smell of pine filled the air, mingling with the scent of cocoa I had prepared earlier. By late afternoon I was alone, finally sitting down with my cup of hot chocolate, trying to enjoy the quiet. That's when I heard it, a soft, deliberate knock at the front door. I froze mid-sip, my throat suddenly dry. Who could it be? I wasn't expecting anyone tonight. I set the cup down and peeked through the peephole. The hall outside was empty. No shadows, no shapes. Just the dimly lit hallway and the faint flicker of streetlights reflected in the snow outside. I exhaled, trying to calm myself. Maybe a neighbor had lost their key. Maybe it was nothing. I sat back down, trying to convince myself I was being paranoid. But then, it came again. Another knock, louder this time, more insistent. My chest tightened. I pressed my back against the couch, trying to tell myself to ignore it. I considered calling my neighbor Sam just to check. Hey, are you expecting anyone tonight? I whispered nervously when he answered. Nope. Why? He replied. I explained. He laughed a little too nervously. Probably some drunk guy messing around. Don't open it. I hung up and tried to relax. But it was impossible. My eyes kept darting to the door. My heart pounded. That's when I noticed something else. The faint crunch of footsteps in the snow outside, deliberate, slow. Someone was walking along the path to my apartment. My stomach lurched. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe someone was just taking a walk in the snow. But then I realized, the steps weren't random. They moved in a pattern, circling my building. My back pressed against the couch, I could barely breathe. I went to check the locks. Front door, locked. Windows, locked. But then my stomach sank. The back door, it was unlocked. I always locked that door. Always. My hands shook as I slammed it shut, checked it again. It was secure now, but my nerves were frayed. I grabbed the kitchen knife, the only weapon I had, and positioned myself near the living room window. From there, I could see the snow-covered street and the faint shadows it cast. And then I heard it, a whisper, soft and chilling, almost carried on the wind. I see you. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the knife. I couldn't tell if it was real or if I was imagining it. I wanted to call 911, but my voice felt stuck in my throat. I couldn't form the words. And then, as if on cue, the doorbell rang. Not a knock. The chime. My blood ran cold. The front door was only a few feet away. I pressed my back against the wall, heart hammering. I could see a figure through the peephole. Hood pulled tight, face shadowed, hands tucked into coat pockets. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, young or old. All I could see was a faint red light reflecting from something in their hand, maybe a phone, maybe something else. I wanted to run, to hide, but I couldn't. I was frozen. The figure stayed there, silent, staring. Minutes passed. It felt like hours. Then, slowly, the figure turned and walked away, disappearing into the snowy street. I wanted to believe it was over, but the unease stayed. My apartment felt different, smaller, trapped. I double-checked every lock, every window. Everything was secure, yet my instincts screamed that I wasn't alone. I spent the next hour sitting in the living room, knife in hand, listening to every creak and groan of the building, every whisper of whine through the cracks in the windows. My mind raced. What if they came back? What if this wasn't a random prank? I called the police again. They came, searched the neighborhood, but found nothing. No footprints, no evidence that anyone had been near my apartment. They left me with a warning. Stay alert and don't engage if someone shows up again. I wanted to tell them everything I'd seen, the steps, the whispers, the figure, but how could I explain someone appearing and vanishing as if they were a shadow? I tried to sleep that night, but every creak of the apartment made me jump. Every shadow seemed to stretch toward me. I stayed in the living room, lights on, knife on my lap, imagining the crunch of boots in the snow, imagining the figure returning. Around midnight, I heard it again, the soft crunch of footsteps outside, deliberate, circling the building. I held my breath, heart racing. Then came the whisper, faint but unmistakable. I'm still here. I wanted to run, to escape, but I was frozen in place, terrified. My phone sat on the table and I considered calling 911 again. But what if I hung up and they vanished before the police arrived? My mind raced with impossible scenarios. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt distorted. Eventually the sound stopped. But the fear stayed. By dawn, the streets were quiet, covered in fresh snow. The world outside looked peaceful, as if nothing had happened. But I knew better. Even now, weeks later, I can't shake that night. Every Christmas Eve, I check my doors multiple times. I close every window, every lock, pull the curtains tight. I keep my phone close. I still remember the way it felt to be watched, the feeling of someone hovering just outside my life, silent, patient, waiting. It wasn't a story, not a legend. It was real. And I know somewhere out there, someone saw me. And maybe next Christmas Eve they'll come back. I've learned a lot since that night. I've learned that safety is an illusion, that fear can come quietly and creep into your life without warning, and that some people, some strangers, are willing to wait for the perfect moment to terrorize someone. I'll never forget the chill that ran down my spine, the crunch of boots in the snow, or the whisper that seemed to echo inside my own head. I see you. And I always will. As the snow melts and the streets return to their quiet, remember this: some fears don't fade with the morning light. Christmas Eve may seem peaceful, but somewhere, someone, or something, is always watching. Keep your doors locked, your eyes open, and your heart steady, because you never know who might be waiting in the shadows. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to subscribe to Do of Dread for more spine-tingling stories that will haunt your nights. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that will make your blood run cold. And remember, every shadow could be hiding a story you'll never forget. Do of Dread, where your nightmares come to life.